All right, 866 Ron Zero Fez. Fez, you are lucky today you're not doing the show by yourself. I am walking here across, I guess, 5th Avenue and about 58th Street, just where you make the left there.
Right.
And I got the right of way. I got the little light with the man on it that says walk. I take 2 steps, gigantic truck going like 40 miles an hour, just zips inches in front of me. I take a step back. I go to yell. The truck is actually stuck in traffic within another 8 feet. So at no time at all, the guy's zipping along. Then he's got to lock it up so he can sit in the next line of traffic. But on the back of it, I see one of those "How's my driving" signs.
Oh, I live for those, Ronnie. You know me.
And it's got the number, his number, and everything. The number I could call. Here's what happened, though. I can't call. I can't rat anybody out.
You're kidding.
No, I can't. I've never done it. I come from a neighborhood where you don't rat them out, but this guy deserves it.
Will you please do me a favor?
Yeah.
Give me the greatest joy I have in life.
Yeah.
Pass along the phone number and his ID number. I live for these kind of things.
And what will you'll act like it happened to you, or are you going to say it happened to my friend?
No, I'll totally act like it happened to me. And I'll say I had, like, my grandmother with me or something.
I could have been run down in a heartbeat by this guy. And there was no reason for it because he stopped literally, I'm going to say 15 yards max right after that.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go.
Zipping. So before I know it, and I got the little walking man. I'm in the right, I'm in no hurry to work. I start work at a decent hour so I can come in here. I don't want to say the exact time because we're all on different time zones here on XM. But there was no possible reason that I would be hurrying to work. And I have the kind of job, even where if I'm late, who cares? No one cares. You throw in that stupid Flair intro, and I got another 18 minutes.
It's perfect. It's so many things to complain about. You're already in the crosswalk. So, I mean, your pedestrianism is already established.
Thank you. And even in New York City, if you're walking, you're walking. I mean,
right.
When you're driving in New York, and I do, you got to watch out for everybody. But you never, I mean, I'm sure the guy had the light for himself, the green light, but you have to be careful in that turn because you have millions of people walking.
Pedestrian's got the right of way. He's having to lock it. He's driving recklessly that he's got to lock it up when he's right back in the traffic past the crosswalk.
Right.
He's running that light. That's obvious because you had the walk sign.
But here's my thing. I can't be a rat.
Oh, I can.
I've never dropped a dime. I've never called the cops for any reasons.
I call the cops. I call 911. I call any of those 1-800 how's my driving if the guy's being a maniac.
Yeah.
I do that constantly. I complain about food products. I do all of that.
I've never done one of them. I have the thing of, get even, but in a manner that's a little more Goodfellas. So I was actually a little bit shaken because it was the type of thing where you go, I could have been fucking killed.
Yeah. And he could care less. You could just tell by his attitude.
I don't even think this guy saw me. There's no way I think that he saw me. Because it wasn't even like a horn. Like sometimes you get the wise-ass horn.
Right.
That a guy's just going to go blowing through anyway. In this case, and then literally stopping enough that I could sit there and read his stupid "How's my driving" on the back of it.
The guy's an idiot for driving like that when he knows that thing's on there. I guess they forget it's on there or just assume no one will call. I call. I report. I complain. I just fired off a letter today, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Dropped one in the mail to General Mills cereals.
What happened? You didn't get the little toy boat that was supposed to be in the bottom? Let me guess. You found another condom. Or as you call it, the Coney Island whitefish floating in the bottom of it.
It was not a condom this time. But you know me, as regimented as I am, I enjoy trying new products, new cereals, new candy
cereals,
bars.
you will be that way.
Yeah, if KFC comes out with some sort of new wing, I'm right there in line.
You are a connoisseur of fast food.
I am a fast food critic. So you imagine my delight when I'm walking through the cereal aisle at the grocery store and see cherry vanilla Cheerios.
Right.
So, and it's a vanilla-flavored Cheerios, and it's got pieces of dehydrated cherry in it.
Yeah.
Or so they say. I've been through this box. I got 2 tiny bits of dehydrated cherry. 2 tiny things, not even as big as a pinky fingernail.
So what are you going to do?
I'm writing to them Because don't email and don't call, because that gets no results whatsoever.
Right.
It's the written letter that they fear.
Yeah, they do. You know why? Somebody has to file it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to take that thing and file it, so then they have to make sure they don't get in trouble.
I have always fired off letters of complaint, and this is my latest one. Don't bullshit me with the Cherry Vanilla Cheerios. Don't put cherry, give it first billing, top billing, if there's no damn cherry in the cereal. So General Mills is going to get a letter full of fez.
So you're like Martha Stewart, where you just send that quick note out.
Cordially yours.
Hey, speaking of which, do we have any kind of mail stuff that we can send out letters? What's that called, Fez?
Stationery?
Yeah, do we have any stationery, Earl?
Letterhead.
Yeah, we got
it's called.
stationery.
What?
Yes, we do have stationery.
Yeah, because we should send Allison Bales a letter for being on our show.
Yeah, I'm composing one.
Yeah, but I mean, there should be like a little note from me and Fez to her and that other mutt. You know, that guy that we really didn't care much about.
Matt Singer.
Yeah.
I thought
Matt Singer, he's directing Superman. This kid's going places.
Brian Singer.
Oh, whatever. The point is, they're all great. All those singers.
Yeah, just don't mix up my General Mills letter with the Allison Bales letters, so she starts getting complaints about cereal.
Yeah, we should have something more like almost like cards, like little note cards, like, hey, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, we can definitely get that.
Why don't you invite us to some of your stuff now? Why don't you invite us to some of those cool IFC parties?
Yeah, we'll take
Written
care
in
of it.
nice calligraphy.
Oh, by the way, Earl had a major celebrity sighting last night. He was dining out and next to some celebrities.
Yeah, I was at the Blue Note last night to see Jimmy Scott.
Why aren't I at the Blue Note? Why are you enjoying the Blue Note and the jazz of the Village? And I'm sitting at home watching Lost like an idiot. I'm watching Martha Stewart and Lost.
I thought you were with Harry.
No.
No.
My days with Harry are over. I gave him one.
Yeah, I was at the Blue Note for Jimmy Scott's 80th birthday celebration.
Right.
It's going on all week at the Blue Note.
Uh-huh.
And 2 tables away from me, having a nice gone fishing reunion, was Joe Pesci and Danny Glover.
That's a big one, my friend.
That's very cool double sighting.
No, was Danny Glover dressed as an African for some reason, like he'll do from time to time?
Danny Glover wears a dress.
He does. He will put on the African dress. And I'm like, okay, that's nice, Danny, if you were actually born there. But you're not in the UN.
I believe he was regularly clothed.
The fun part would have been watching him try to catch a cab afterwards.
And, oh, yeah, he can't. Mr. Cab Driver.
Pesci has to go out there and try to hail the cab.
So, yeah, why Danny Glover waits in the shadows.
And then hops in at the last minute. His dress gets caught in the cab door. It's a mess.
You know, when we used to leave late at night, we used to leave WNEW. If Earl was with us, the cab wouldn't stop. And this is, after the year 2000, we have to say, Earl, take a couple steps back. As soon as he does, a cab will stop. Now, you would think, all right, white people are racist. We all know this. These aren't even fucking white people driving these cabs that feel like they're above blacks now.
Yeah, it would be, if Earl was standing there, there'd be no getting home.
Yeah, and people that look like Harry are driving by us and our money because we have a black friend.
Yeah, and just the majority of us white.
Yeah.
All it took was one Earl.
A bass player.
To screw the pooch.
It's like they wouldn't pick up Dwayne and Greg Allman because of the bass player. This is a great song, Earl.
Mr. Cab Driver, I might need some help. Mr. Cab Driver only thinks about himself.
It's really true, though. They do not want to pick up black people. Is it because you go so far uptown? Is that it, Earl?
I think cabbies still hate to go to Brooklyn because you can't get anything on the way back.
Right.
Most people are going in and not coming back.
Fezzy deals with that with Welfare Island.
Roosevelt Island.
If we're going back to Fez's thing, we'll get in. He'll go, Roosevelt Island. The cab will go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm closed. And Fez will go crazy and take his number.
It'll be another thing where I take that cab number and call the taxi line,
Yeah,
the
they
complaint
can't.
line.
They can't refuse a fare.
Yeah.
Well, I, in their defense, who wants smallpox? You want to go in Fezzy's neighborhood next to the old smallpox hospital.
That hospital is abandoned. There's no longer smallpox running amok.
You don't think there's a couple of smallpox germs left over after that?
No, I honestly do not.
If you ever want to see Fez's apartment, watch the movie Dark Water. because that's exactly where he lives.
I need the ceilings cleaned in here.
And if you want to see where Earl lives, there's a movie called Dark Waiter, and that's a good one. Well, why are you mad? You're the one hanging out at the Blue Note all night with celebrities.
Come back.
Did you talk to them?
I talked, we exchanged a how you doing with Pesci. As I was leaving, he was like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, is that right? How's he look?
He looks great.
Yeah?
I mean...
He hasn't worked in so long. I don't even remember the last movie Pesci did.
He was just kind of like, he was just living the life. He had a drink in his hand. He was with friends. He was having a good time.
Yeah, I know.
And that big black woman in a dress next to him, Danny Glover. Your wife is lovely.
First of all, that's the natural way for an African to look, Fez.
Oh.
It's not a dress.
I wish I was there the night before.
Who's there?
Diana Krall and Elton John shared a piano while Jimmy Scott... And Elvis Costello was in the audience.
Elvis didn't come up on stage?
Didn't come up on stage, but he was there.
If I was there, I'd be yelling, Elvis, Elvis, trying to get a chant going at an 80-year-old man's birthday.
But he's playing there all week, and they said stars are going to be popping in every night.
Lock me up. This is something I should be going to.
Well, we'll take care of it.
I want to get wired. I want to be as wired as you are, Earl. I know we're only into our 8th show. But, I want to do things.
Earl will always act like he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Like this afternoon after the show, it'll be, well, tonight, man, I'll watch Survivor. Earl will say, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Then you find out the next morning, Earl's gone off and done something really cool.
Well, Earl also does things, Fezzy, that you wouldn't. He'll show up 1:45. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, Earl is one of those late-night owls. And the weird thing is he's leaving from work to do it. Speaking of Lost was on last night. They're right back into it, Fez. But I'm watching Lost. And I'm probably 10 or 15 minutes into it, and they're down the hatch, and all this fucked up stuff is happening, and it's all spooky, and I'm like, damn, I forgot how scary. My phone rings. It's Fez Marie Watley. Are you watching this? And I'm like, yeah. Could you believe how scary this is? And I'm like, I know, it is. He goes, and I fly this all the time. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I thought you were talking about Lost, and you were afraid of the plane on Lost again.
I fly Oceanus all the time.
But you're watching JetBlue while Earl's at the Blue Note.
Yeah, JetBlue, hovering in the sky, circling, trying to burn off as much fuel as possible before they come in for the emergency landing with the twisted landing gear.
Well, it all worked out, though, right?
Yeah, I couldn't take my eyes off the coverage. It's something I shouldn't watch. My brother Corky called and told me about it.
Yeah.
He told me to turn on the CNN. And then later my family said, hey, you didn't tell Fez about this, did you? Because I have a huge plane phobia.
Yeah, not the best flyer. Not the best flyer ever. And I think any of us don't want to see a plane all screwed up. I mean, naturally you identify with the people inside immediately.
I would still be the fatality on it. I would have had a heart attack.
I don't know whether you saw this or not, but they were all watching on their own TVs. They were watching the news. What was going on?
I think as scared as I was, I think I would have had to do that just for more and more information.
Just to hear some guy goes, there's no possible way they're going to bring this down. Hey, when they dumped the fuel, it was all over South Central. They did it on purpose. They thought maybe those people could light a match. Hey, Jim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, how you doing, Ron and Fez?
What do you say, buddy?
Well, I was going to tell you, this driver, oh, shit.
Those driver numbers, how's my driving?
Yeah, how's my driving stickers? They do work. I mean, if you're going to call it, they do work. Because I know with my company that I drive for, we get in trouble when we do get a call. And I guess it was last week I got a call on my truck. I drive a tanker.
Right.
And the guy called me on for not using my turn signal.
Really?
Changing lanes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I got shit for it. I mean, I got pulled in the office, and they gave me all kinds of hell for it.
Wow. All right, thanks, man. So there you go, Fezzy. I can't do this, but I will give you the number.
Please do. Please pass along any of the information to me. I will do this as soon as the show is over.
Hey,
and look forward to it.
And let them know this is XM Radio's Fez Watley, and I was almost killed.
I got no problem doing that either.
Hey, Tommy, you're on. Wiki tells us, just throw the name around all the time. Let them know.
I'm not anonymous when I complain.
Here's
hey, what's up, guys?
Tommy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good, man. I used to listen to y'all back in the day down in Tallahassee. Still got my batch rag.
All right. Congratulations. That was one of our giveaways, batch rags.
Yeah, y'all played at the Moon.
Thank you for explaining it.
So what can we do for you, Tommy?
Yeah. Why don't we be honest? And so the real reason why Cavs won't pick up black guys.
Yeah. What is
Because
it?
they're fucking robbing them all the time. They're not stupid.
You know what? I just don't believe that even for a second. I mean, it's not that people don't get robbed, but you would see any cab robbery in the paper here, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it would totally be reported.
Yeah.
Or they're running off. I mean, a buddy of mine used to drive a cab down in Orlando.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not talking about Orlando.
Yeah, but I mean, it's black folks are black folks, right? I'm just kidding, man. That sounded bad, didn't it?
It was a good one.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just I'll give you one of these real quick.
White people are so scared of black people.
Along with in my family, always said rednecks are rednecks too, and I don't know whether that's true,
right.
but it's a good rule of thumb. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it, buddy. Here's David. David, you're on Run and Fez. How you doing, Dave?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, David. You're on the Run and Fez show.
How you doing, guys? I got one of them numbers of calls for complaints on the back of my trailer.
Yeah.
But it's actually my cell number, so I love when people call that number.
So you do it just for yourself?
Yeah, I just put my cell number on there, and then when they call bitching, I just cuss them out.
All right, we'll find out that because I got the guy's number. I'll throw it on the goddamn air if that's the game he's playing.
Just cut someone off and wait for your cell phone to ring.
And I don't even know what kind of business it was. I wish it did, have a name of a business on it.
Oh, they'll announce it when you call the 1-800-How's My Driving.
Yeah.
They'll say the business.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they'll say,
Yeah,
this is blah, 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 thank you for calling.
I just want you to do one of those gay things where you're just really detailed and annoying and expecting something back.
Not so much gay as conscientious.
Oh, that's what I thought gay was, caring. I thought when you really care about the way the world works, that's gay.
Tattletale does not a gay make.
I was thinking about that with a lot of your OCDs. You know what I mean? That perfectionism thing leads to your OCDs. Like today, I don't know whether you're worried about your door being locked at your house.
Checked it 1,000,000 times. It's got to be locked.
But that's because your parents probably taught you to care about life.
Oh, yeah.
See, I went just the opposite. With the way I was raised and with my kid. Who gives a fuck? You ever see, like, when those kids, some straight-A student, he gets a B and he jumps in front of a train?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because nothing's good enough.
The kids that don't make the transition from high school to college.
Where if you're like a D student, you pull a C in and the whole family's going crazy. They're going like this. So, pulled that C and phys ed. How'd you pull that one off?
The power of lower expectations.
I had my shorts. That was my key this year, was to have shorts for phys ed. Because that's really the only way you can fail phys ed, is not to show up with your gear.
Yeah, there's a lot of times. Or if you have dress shoes instead of sneakers.
Sure, you show up in a pair of work boots and cutoffs, they might drop you down to a D. That'll happen.
Where are your shoes?
But you'll still pass. You'll still pass just by showing up, as long as you're not faking a doctor's note like that one really sissy kid.
I was always very sickly.
Yeah. Afraid of shirts, skins.
Nightmare day. Nightmare.
Or you would become erect during the shirt skins game. Hey, DC, you're on Run and Fez.
2076.
Oh, that's going old school, buddy.
Hoo-ah! Hey, you guys are talking about Danny Glover wearing his African costume. I just remembered I'm Norwegian. I'm going to start walking around in a Viking outfit all the time.
It doesn't seem like the Vikings have that kind of pride as the African people do. You'll never see them just go, I'm going to put on the Viking head and head on down the street.
Some nice helmet with horns, a berserker look.
Yeah, right.
Big furry boots.
Just start pillaging. What are your people, Fez?
Well, my grandmother came from Scotland, and I don't think I could ever wear the kilt.
Because of the...
Yeah, the draft.
Tiny peepster?
I would constantly be worried of that thing the flap opening too much,
right.
Maybe on the side like a wraparound skirt.
Speaking of which, did you see the Hulk Hogan picture the other day with Lizzie Grubman?
No.
So it's some, red carpet deal, and he had picked her up and was holding on to Lizzie Grubman, but he had pulled her little skirt up while he was doing it. No panties, and the little beeves the little Long Island beef is just there for everybody. Go to, I think yeah.com. It's got 18 E's in it. They should have it. Or if anybody has that picture, and 1 million people have sent it to me already, Ron and Fez at AOL.com, Ron and Fez at AOL.com.
Nice work, Hulkster.
Yeah. Hey, John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, man. I think that the taxi cab driving thing, man, they won't pick up the black people because they're scared they'll get robbed. I think that might be a little outdated, and, you know, if they would pick them up, they would find out that they're not quite as...
That they wouldn't get robbed. They would actually get paid their fare.
Yeah.
And not shot in the head. But here's what kills you. If it was white people who had some kind of connection to blacks, we have a long history of black and white problems. Yeah. Most of the cab drivers are Arabs who just got here. They barely speak English themselves, and yet they already feel like they've moved up a bump and that they're too good for black people. That's the part of it that bothers me.
Mr. Cab Driver won't stop to let me in.
And I'll tell you, Fez, for Earl, it's even worse.
Yeah?
Subways won't stop for him.
Oh, that's awful. When there's all those other people on the platform.
The subway will see a black guy and keep on going. And the funny thing about Earl is, and I don't know, have you ever had a fight in your life, Earl?
Oh, yeah.
When you were younger?
Yeah.
But
Your
not as an
sister, Big
adult.
Sheila?
Well, yeah. Guess who won?
When was the last time you had a fight?
Like a fight? Probably about 14 or 15.
Right. So, you know, not at age, once you were old enough to start hurting each other, did you fight. And yet people that don't know Earl, because he dresses all in black, petrified of him.
Oh, yeah, because when it gets cool out and he's got the long black trench coat, he's got those real thin black sunglasses, and it's Morpheus coming at you.
He looks like he'd be working security for Public Enemy. Remember those guys that would be all in black?
Those are the S1Ws.
And sometimes, didn't they have, like, even fake machine guns with them or something?
Yeah, it just scared the crap out of white people.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
It's everything combined.
I'm not crazy about seeing white people with submachine guns.
I remember once, New Year's Eve, my brother and I got on a train.
Yeah.
And we were wearing, like, long black coats. You know, it's New Year's Eve, and we had these giant wraparound sunglasses on. There were about 10 people on the train. They all, like you turn on the lights and the roaches scatter.
Right.
The second we got on the train,
right,
everyone just got up and took off, and we're just looking at each other like, what happened? What
did we do?
They're all giving each other their New Year's kisses early because they're not going to see the new year at midnight.
Just the B&T crowd can't believe they've found themselves near black people. Although I will say this. There is a certain percentage, Fez, I know you're not worried about black people.
No.
But there becomes a certain percentage where you start to go, all right, this is a little blacker than I expected. Like if you're out on the street and it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, once you start to hit that 90-10, 95-5, you start going, I think this might not be the best neighborhood for me.
Yeah, that's when you've gone on a nature walk, and all of a sudden you've wandered off the path, and you're all of a sudden you're looking around, and you don't remember the way back out. There's too many trees.
There is, and I don't care who you are, there's a certain percentage that people will feel comfortable. Now, does it happen that way for black people too, or are you just so used to being a minority?
I think it happens all the time. I remember on one Thanksgiving, we got lost in Newark, New Jersey. Now, we're in a town full of black people, and we were scared. It was
right.
My brother's like, let me get out and ask for directions. And we're like, no, we don't. No.
You haven't had a good holiday, have you?
Could you imagine being a black guy, being afraid of black people? I mean, there's nowhere in the world for me now. There's nowhere I can go. But I can identify with that because, like, if I'm in fucking West Virginia and I start seeing those kinds of white people, or I'm down in Alabama or something, and like, you're getting away from a city. You're getting out there in the sticks. Then you're like, fuck it, these people are scary as hell. You want to be somewhat close to feeling like I can blend in.
Yeah, you get into in that arena, it's all of a sudden no one has a shirt on. It's a bunch of tattooed white guys, and no one's got a shirt on, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
At a gas station.
I'll tell you where, like, when you're down in Florida, you're just like, hey, this is Florida, this is great. You leave Miami, you start to head across and find yourself in some of those swamp towns down there. And those people, like, they're wearing gator belts and shit, and they're just all skinny and fucked up teeth, and you're like, I don't know, man. I think I'm just going to keep on going until I hit Tampa. I'm going to at least get to Fort Myers before I get out of the car.
Yeah, I'm not stopping for gas here on Alligator Alley.
Even out in California, when you walk into a bar and you see those, like, it's like a biker, but it's like more of a Western look, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they're bikers that live outside is what they feel like to me.
Camper/bikers.
I don't know where they sleep at night. I don't know what they do. But they just have, it's like the Old West meets motorcycles. It's a spooky look to me.
It's a nomadic look.
Yeah.
Wanderers.
Oh, they are. They're wanderers from town to town. Like, this is too weird. Anywhere up in the hills is always spooky with white people, too. I don't want to be up around hill folk.
They're so few and far between. Anytime when you're in that area and you have to stop, then it just feels bad. It just feels disastrous.
Yeah, sure. You pull off the road and the guy's like, hey, what you doing here? Like, he can't believe. You know, he works in a gas station and he's freaked out that a car is pulled in. Hey, how'd you get here? He's all fucking curious about your car and shit, asking you questions. You're like, I just want to get out, Goob. I just want out.
When I drove my car to Florida a few weeks ago, stopped in North Carolina to get something to eat, the creepiness of just how slow motion everyone was.
Right.
That there was no urgency whatsoever. I guess not that there should be.
Right.
But there was just no... I mean, this couple came in, they got sat at a small table. The place is empty. It's me and my sister and then this other couple come in. All these other tables, they say, can we have a bigger table? And the waitress is like, no.
It's like a question she's never heard before. Can we move?
Or like you violated their code somehow.
Well, you know, even when I moved to Florida, those people that were born and raised in Florida, they got that fucking loping walk. Like, they're just walking like the sun's on their shoulders. And I'm like, let's move it along here. And the other thing, too, man, is they get skinny as shit. I don't know why you'd be afraid of really skinny guys. And they look like they weigh like 95 pounds, yet they're still scary looking, like you couldn't hurt them like a zombie.
And an all deep dark blue ink tattoo that just somehow is stretching down their skinny arm along with their skin.
You ever been freaked out by because you walk into a place and everyone's speaking like a different language than you? You get that in Miami all the time, where everybody's just talking Spanish and you're just sitting there like, you might as well be a retarded person now. You're just so on the outside.
Yeah, I went in for car insurance one time, and there was nobody there that spoke English to help me in Miami.
Well, even the malls down there, that big mall, that big in Plantation.
Sawgrass Mills, the outlet mall.
You're in a gigantic mall, and you have to ask people, does anybody here speak English? I'm the stupid person that would like to buy some pliers, and you're in your own country, and you're trying to show what pliers are.
I went in a store the other day to buy a candy bar. I needed some energy to get home.
You're an adult. Why would you stop to get a candy bar?
I was really having a chocolate fix.
Yeah. Well, guess who's on their way to a heart attack?
So I stopped to get the candy bar. I don't know what it costs. I have no clue.
Right.
If you made me guess what a candy bar costs nowadays, I have no idea.
I would still say a quarter, but that's me.
So I had 2 singles out.
Right.
I gave the candy bar to the guy. He says the price. I can't understand a word this gentleman is saying.
Right.
This Middle Eastern gentleman. Can't understand. So I just hand him 2 singles.
Right.
Figuring it's got to be above $1. The thing was only 65 cents. In the most disgusted tone of silence and dirtiest look, he handed me my other $1 back. Like, how dare you not be able to understand the language that I'm speaking to you?
Maybe he was just offended that a grown man would stop for a candy bar in the middle of the day.
I can have a treat after the show.
It just looks bad. Why don't you stop and get a drink? You're 21, get a drink. Hey, Rat Belly, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was driving through Arizona.
Right.
In the Suburban, and of course I'm like running on fumes, and I pull into one of those backwoods gas stations, and I swear to shit, this guy had a 6-gun on his hip and a lever-action rifle on the other pump.
What happens at this gas station? You think that this guy's going to worry like this?
I have no friggin' clue, but the guy was friendly. The guy was nice.
Right.
Sure.
And to them, it's normal. To them, it's like, hey, I probably won't have to use this.
Till you look like you're probably a pump-and-run suspect.
Yeah, you start to make some kind of fast motion around them. Yeah, don't tell me that there's white people out there that white people aren't afraid of. There are. So Earl may be right about that.
You reach in the glove box to get your wallet. You forgot to bring it out when you're pumping the gas. Next thing you know, you get one in the back. Because he thinks you're going for the keys.
And then you're just buried. You and your car are buried, never to be seen again.
The plates are off of it, and that thing's being sold.
It's always weird, like just, like you're in Vegas. Hey, we're in Vegas. Drive a half hour out of that, and then you're like, where the fuck am I? You'll find yourself turning around and coming back. Hey, Brat, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You guys ever been to West Virginia?
Sure.
Where at?
I don't know all the names there, but everybody's been through West Virginia.
Oh, no, everybody hadn't been through West Virginia. I don't think you have.
Yes, we have. We were just living in Virginia. We were just living in Virginia before we were here.
And so you're talking about people like they're dirt. They're great people. I travel all through. I've been to New York City. Great people there.
I am
Why
sure
is everybody bad?
No, you're missing the point. We're talking about our own prejudice. I'm sure once you get to know people in bumfuck, I'm sure they're all wonderful. But I'm saying if you're not from there, you're scared shit. Black people, I've been to parties, and I'm like, wow, this is weird. And then it's a matter of me chilling out and being cool. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I overreacted to this. But it is a normal thing for people to go, these people are different than me, then feel weird.
Well, it may be normal for you, but you just try to get along wherever you go.
Right, you're the greatest person in the world.
That's where you learn from growing in the city. You're scared of everybody. If you grow up out in the hills and stuff, maybe you learn to like everybody. I don't know.
Absolutely, you're preaching to the choir here. I'm saying there's white people, because Earl was saying that he was afraid of black people before. I said there's some white people that have weirded me out before. When people are different from you, you do have to learn their world before you settle down.
You're right.
I'm sure you're a saint in a truck and everything comes to you easy. I'm sure you're just driving around like Saint Christopher.
Yeah, we all are saints.
My problem in West Virginia is I have to stop licking a Kleenex and trying to get the coal mine dust off of everyone's faces. I have to stop doing that.
Don't act like you've never been too far out in the country and it doesn't seem weird to you.
Because it's weird out there.
Here's Brian. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Brian. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to XM first off.
Thanks, man.
Hey, I'm out here in California. I'm a black guy, and I got to admit, sometimes I am afraid of my own people, so to speak. And I always say that I drive a truck and I have a delivery that I make in San Francisco, and that stop is filled with a lot of derelicts and homeless people and whatnot. But some of these guys that walk up to me asking for change or trying to peddle a CD, I just wonder if they're going to pull out a gun and shoot me.
It's just because that's not your place. I'm going to tell you right now, to me, the scariest movie is Fargo, because there are white people in that movie that are way too white for me. They're just scary white.
They're white, they're out there, and it's like the rules of society don't apply to them anymore.
It's just your own imagination, though.
That's all
it is. It's nothing has happened to you, but Earl's grown up in a black community his whole life, but you put him in South Central, he feels like a fish out of water. That's not where he's from. And people actually do die there. So let's not act like they don't. Let's not act like no one's ever been butt-fucked in West Virginia. It happens.
Tell me.
No, I mean not wanting to be.
Oh.
Hey, here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Who would not want?
John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I was just wanting to say that I was born and raised in West Virginia, and I'm scared to death of these fucking people in this state.
See? It happens.
And there's probably people that are afraid of him.
That trucker who drives around with a halo over his head, he's better than me. I understand. I'm sure you're comfortable wherever you go. You don't judge people. You're friendly, and they're friendly.
Heaven's van line.
It doesn't mean that you don't have these thoughts when you go places. When suddenly it's you on an elevator and 16 Puerto Ricans, then you don't. Your first thought is always going to be, "Hey, I'm a little different here. I'm a little different from everybody else."
Do I smile at the baby?
Yeah. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
Go ahead, pal.
Hillbillies are scary, yes, but they don't shoot you in the head for a pair of sneakers.
See, I don't know what they would do or what they wouldn't do.
Of course they're not going to kill you for shoes. Their dogs can't breathe in those things.
They just don't like them?
No. They suffocate you, put a pair of shoes on a hillbilly.
I remember one time I was up in Canada, and I was a kid with my folks, and we were like deep in the woods, right? And we come around this thing, and there was this old house, and there was white people that were so fucking scary. I mean, Little Abner scary. And we were going by, and a guy was taking a bath in the front yard in a fucking bucket.
Oh, man.
He was ass down in a bucket, Fezzi, and I swear to God this is a true story. And he had a big-ass brush. And, I mean, we were all just going like, turn this thing around, Dad. Seriously, turn this thing around. They are going to eat us. They are going to eat us.
You moved to Canada. Is that how you have to bathe?
And don't act like no white people have ever been cannibals before. They have been. It happens. Jason, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
I love the show. New caller, new listener.
Thanks,
Listen,
man.
I grew up in New York in some real heavy neighborhoods, and I'm about as white can be. And up in Montana, Missoula, Montana, I don't know if you guys been up there before. Walked into a bar up there when I was driving over the road, and I figure I could assimilate just fine with these people up there. Got blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right.
I felt the eyes staring at me, just something burning a hole in the back of my head. I turned around, there's 4 guys with Montana militia hats on, just staring at me like they just wanted to rip me apart. Never said a word to them, just from being out of town. The scariest guys I ever met, the scariest position I've ever been in, and they were white, And so I always felt like you're a little bit more dangerous with white people because they're crazy.
Well, I've been up in Northern California and down in Florida and the swamps and stuff, places like that, where you don't know what their business is in that town. So you come in as an outsider, and you might look like a cop or an FBI. You don't know who's growing what or who's moving what through where. So right away, an outsider means danger in a lot of these small towns.
With some of the militia and separatists, there's only a certain amount of people that can be in the separatist group. Separatist seems like you should just be by yourself, all alone. But, yeah, there's a certain number of people before they start to get uncomfortable.
Right, that whole KKK, they're not going to let me in. My fucking blood isn't pure for them. There's a Catholic background. And then you have to remember there's a lot of people that hate city people because they come in town and they buy stuff and they change things. So they just don't like outsiders. Here's Gail. Gail, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, yeah, I was in Johnson City, Tennessee not too long ago, and I went into a gas station, and the guy, I wouldn't turn the pump on, and I went in. I said, hey, can you turn the pump on? He's like, no, we don't serve people like you. You need to go down the road. I looked exactly like this guy. I mean, I was like, he was even in his shitty old Chevrolet pickup.
See, that's just laziness.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I looked at him, I said, what do you mean, me?
But you don't know. That thing might be a front for something, you know what I mean? He might have a pump there, but because he's running some other kind of business that he doesn't want the feds to know about.
I guess.
There's weird shit out there.
Figure it out, man.
Yeah.
I noticed this driving through the South, that some of the Cracker Barrels, they now have this giant plaque, giant wooden sign in the lobby, where it talks about how they're not going to turn down service to anyone because of some of the past trouble they've gotten into.
I wasn't even aware of this. Who were they turning down?
I think what happened was, some black people, there was one story where they had to wait hours and hours for their food, and they saw other people getting served ahead of them. Then there was some other black people who had the complaint they had been served pre-eaten food.
What's wrong with that?
Some pre-bitten French fries and that sort of thing. Half a sandwich with a bite out of it.
And Earl loves Cracker Barrel.
I love the Oh, man.
It's good.
You love to see it be.
But on the sign now, the sign is huge because they have to cover everything. Race, religion, ethnic background, handicap, retard, everything.
Really?
Yeah. Mentally challenged.
Then they're going to lose my business because I can't digest if I'm going to be looking at that.
It's hard to choke down hash brown casserole.
Yeah, while I'm sitting there looking at Fez and everybody from his building attempting to eat. Grosses me out.
I don't go eat with the retards.
Devin, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing, fellas?
Good, buddy.
I went to school at West Virginia University. I had to do my senior project down in this little town called Webster Springs.
Right.
Maybe 200 people live there. I walk out of my car with khaki shorts on, sandals, and a Yankee shirt.
Right.
Didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's places white people. I've been in Mississippi, and I felt a little nervous around white people before. When I see that where George W. Bush lives out there in West Texas, that doesn't look like a place I'd feel comfortable.
That Crawford Ranch, you had that one guy when Cindy Sheehan was out there protesting.
Yeah.
The guy whose property was up against President Bush's ranch, he just comes out and starts shooting the gun in the air to chase off Cindy Sheehan.
There's this show tonight. Because we all act like prejudice is a thing of past and doesn't exist anymore. And Chris Rock shows tonight about him being on the other side of racism because he went to an all-Italian school when he was a black kid. When I was a kid, everybody separated themselves. I don't know if it's the same way now. But I think that people, even though you learn to get out of it from time to time, your natural instinct, the whole tribal instinct, is to be with your own kind, and it takes your intellect to get you out of that kind of thinking. But on that genetic level, you're just thinking to yourself, who looks just like me, and how do I fit in with them?
Just start moseying over that way.
Yeah. Because don't act like you're comfortable to go in any gay bar and just be, or that Jewish people don't have their own prejudice, because they do. Just because people have had prejudice before against them doesn't mean that they're not getting them now. You wanted to say this, Fez?
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan picture where he stopped to pick up Lizzie Grubman in his arms. Yeah, Hulk is not taking care to make sure that her crotch is covered whatsoever.
Well, how would he know? He doesn't know she's not wearing any underwear. She's sitting there with a smile on her face. But this he printed for you, Fez. It's not as good as the color picture. You can't tell as well.
I'll have to check that out on yeah.com.
Hey, Brian, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Brian, go ahead, pal.
Hey, I'm going international on you here, but I made it to Turkey. I'm with my job, and I'm a white Jewish guy, and all of a sudden I hear these prayer horns going off, and people are stopping and praying, and I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm not going to get down and pray, so I ran like a little bitch back to my hotel room as fast as I could.
I know. Did you ever see that when they do that things where everybody will hit at the same time? Because I know this happens in Harry's hometown, and the prayers will actually go over speakers over there.
Oh, I had no idea.
It's fucking haunting. It's spooky sounding stuff. So he just goes running home.
Let me out of here.
Hey, Frank, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good, buddy. What can we do for you?
Hey, man. Well, first, just want to say I'm glad you don't play that terrorist on Harvey or whatever that guy's name is.
Right.
Harvey the terrorist.
We put him on the back burner for a while.
He should stay on a burner, man. Burn him alive. But what I'm trying to say is you city boys, man, you don't understand. Small town USA, we don't want no outsiders in there.
What are you hiding? What are you keeping down there in Alabama you don't want us to see?
Nothing, man. We're not trying to keep nothing. We're just trying to keep everything the way it is. Y'all city people come in and try to make changes, do different things. It's not the way y'all...
Damn us and our penicillin.
What do we try to do?
Come in being all fancy,
What kind of fancy things are we doing?
And
I'm
man,
always curious.
We do everything a little slower down here, man. That's all I can tell you. Y'all people aren't used to that up there.
But what were we
am I
saying?
right or wrong?
I have no idea what... It always seemed like you guys in small towns have secrets.
No secrets.
Like there's somebody buried, or you're selling something, you're doing something. What are you up to?
Let me give you an example, man.
Yeah.
You got things the way you like it in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say someone comes in and just tries to start changing how you got things, maybe move things a different place, put a different cover on your bed or something. You don't want them to do that.
All right, I understand. So you don't want us coming in going, hey, stop having sex with your children, or stop, we want you to start walking faster.
Your sister, whatever.
What?
Your sister, it doesn't matter, man. I understand you're making jokes. That's cool. It's funny, but
right.
I'm just trying to say it's what we're trying to protect, man. Is we don't do things the same way y'all do it up there.
You do it a little differently.
Not as fancy.
A little differently. A lot slower than y'all are used to, especially y'all city folk up there. I know how it is. I've been up there before.
I understand what he means about the fancy part. Last time I was in Alabama, I wore spats and a top hat.
You do sound real fancy. I got to tell you, you sound like a little different kind of fancy. Might not be like down here.
Hey, let me tell you, Frank, he's even a little too fancy for me sometimes. I'm with you.
I don't know. Well, you never talk about a wife, Ronnie. You got a wife or what?
Yeah, I do. But,
you might want to talk about it a little more with that guy as your partner.
I'm not even all that comfortable saying it in front of you, Frank, but that's my own thing. All right,
hey, man,
buddy.
you guys are good people, man. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you, Frank.
So that's, and you know what, Earl, if you're going to play that if you're going to play that song all the time, people aren't going to like us. I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to find out what the small town secrets are.
Earl always has that ready.
They don't want us to come down there moving their furniture and making them walk faster. They like to do things slow.
Who left these things all over the town? You mean books?
No, the weird thing about... That's funny. The weird thing about Fez is when he drinks, he gets real Southern. Real kind of Tennessee Williams, Truman Capote Southern.
It just kicks in.
Yeah.
Just a few beers into it.
Hey, Sean, you're on Run Fez.
Guys, let me tell you what happened to me. I'm a New Yorker, and I moved down south. And the minute I left New York, all of a sudden I stopped trusting New Yorkers. I don't know what happened. It's just like I'm out of that area, and I'm in the south now, so all of a sudden, like, those are my people, and now I don't like New Yorkers. They all look like Derek Jeter, and they all just act a little bit strange.
You know what? When I was in Florida, nobody liked New Yorkers. And one of the reasons why is they won't shut up and tell you how to do things. They go into businesses, and they're completely explaining what the sandwich should taste like and how late the place should be open. And in Florida, there was a lot of prejudice against New Yorkers. And the other thing people hate about New Yorkers is they always come into the place with a ton of money.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah. They're always forcing prices up because they're like, oh, I'll buy this house and come here once every 3 years.
It's funny. You live in New York and you see people every day, like, let's say someone on the sidewalk just talking to themselves.
Right.
Just, an average nut, not over the board kooky. But then you're in, like, Virginia and you see that same exact thing, and it just seems so much crazier.
Well, because when it's not your town, you feel like it's organized. Where if you come to New York, it looks like a gigantic city of strangers. When you live here, you start to figure out the neighborhoods, and you start to see people over and over, and it kind of feels like a collection of small towns. And then you're like, oh, there's that crazy guy barking. He's been there for 2 years. He's not going to hurt anybody. But if you just come in and a guy's barking, you're like, what the fuck about this? This is scary. Hey, Dean, you're on the Ron and Fez show, buddy. What's happening?
What you got, Dean?
Hey, well, actually, you're talking about the small towns. I'd had more problems in San Francisco than I've ever had in a small town. And I go to South Central L.A., Chicago, New York, wherever. But I had a bunch of homeless people down there actually give me more problems trying to deliver in all places right in front of the Federal Court of Appeals.
Sure. There's no such thing as, hey, I'm safe. I'm in this neighborhood when you're in a big city. You know what I mean? Those people don't care.
Yeah.
San Francisco can be a cold town. I've been there a couple of times. I love it. I think it's beautiful. But I've never figured it out. I never got it wired.
Yeah, but see, they got a major problem with the homeless people there because they feel that you are supposed to give to them, whether it be money or food or whatever.
They're a little more aggressive.
But here, when you're living in the city, you know to say no. You know what I mean? And that ends the whole conversation. You don't break into a whole deal with them, or you just keep moving by them. When you're not used to that, it kind of weirds you out a little bit, and you feel like I could have been killed by a homeless person. The reality is, it's very rare that a homeless person would go after you more than anyone else. Hey, John, you're on Run and Fez.
John. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, down south, the thing is we tend to be a little bit more self-reliant, especially in your small towns. And in small towns, there are no secrets. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody's business.
Right, but between each other, not with an outsider.
Well, right, because where a lot of people down south don't trust outsiders because where a lot of people think the religious right is trying to force their views on people, a lot of us in the South think that people like Chucky Schumer is trying to force things on us, when it comes to our guns and stuff. Because where you guys think it's normal to pay extra rent to have a security guard at your building, we feel like, why pay for a security guard? We'll go buy a 12 gauge, and we don't call the cops to arrest them. We call the cops to come sponge them off the wall.
But if you know everybody in your town, who are you worried about coming in?
Well, it doesn't matter how big or small the town is. You've got criminal elements.
All right, so you know who the criminals are. It shouldn't be that big of a deal that you're laying there afraid at night, right?
Well, the thing is, in the small towns, they'll come from the next town over sometimes.
Ah.
And I can tell you about a small town in Kentucky, less than 10,000 people. About 10 years ago, they busted one of the city police officers. He sold over a key of coke out of his cruiser to an FBI informant.
Yeah.
We've got it everywhere.
You got to watch out for FBI informants, that's for sure. So a lot of times if we come down there, you're going to think that we're feds, and when you try to sell us keys of coke, we're going to bust you. I understand. I get it now. Now I understand. You got to stay inside. Keep it locked down just for locals. Even surfers. Everybody thinks surfers are like the nicest people ever, and you go to California or Hawaii, try and fucking throw your board in the wrong beach where you're not known. You'll get the shit kicked out of you by these peaceful surfers.
Yeah, I would never even try that. If I went to Hawaii, I would just stay right behind the hotel.
Well, you know that from that No Fat Guys. When you see the No Fat Guys graffiti up, you know not to surf. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll be right back. Ron and Fez Show.
The Ron and Fez Show. XM 202.